They will see the fortune, but they will never understand the fight. They will call it luck, coincidence, some gift you were born with that they were not. They will see the results, the empire, the undeniable strength in your eyes, but they will remain blind to the reality, the silent wars you waged against your own doubt in the dead of night. They will never see the mornings you rose with nothing but a burning vision and an unbreakable will. Let them call it luck. You and I know the truth. Wealth is not a lottery ticket you find. It is a reality you command. It doesn't answer to wishes. It bows, without exception, to the mind that has been trained, forged, and hardened into a weapon of creation. This is not a guide. This is not motivation. This is the installation of the code that separates the man who hopes from the man who builds. This is how you train your mind to command the reality you were born to lead. For the man ready to abandon luck and seize command, your training starts now. Subscribe and report for duty. They will look at the empire you build and whisper the word luck. They will see the fruits of your discipline and call it coincidence. Let them. Their vocabulary is the language of the spectator, not the language of the arena where you fight. You must understand, their definition is a cage. They build for themselves, and you will not live there. The truth is, reality is not random. It is a response. It does not respond to half-hearted wishes or desperate hopes whispered into the void. It is deaf to the man who begs for a chance. It responds to only one frequency, the frequency of command, the unwavering, unshakable, absolute certainty of a mind that has decided what its reality will be. This is the first code you must install. Your mind is not a passive observer of your life. It is the active command center. The thoughts you permit to live there are the architects of your future. Andrew Carnegie did not wish for a steel empire. He commanded it into existence with the force of a focused thought. He saw it, he defined it, he acted on it. This is your inheritance as a man, the power to command, not to wish. You were not born to be a passenger in your own life, subject to the random winds of fate. You were born to be the captain, the one who sets the course, who holds the wheel in the storm and commands the ship to its destination, regardless of the waves. You must now reject the lexicon of the weak. Erase luck, chance, and coincidence from your internal dialogue. Replace them with decision, discipline, and design. When you speak of your future, you speak of what you are building, what you are creating, what you are commanding into being. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. So let's begin your first drill. Right now, identify the single biggest outcome in your life that you have been wishing for. See it clearly. Now, shift your entire being. Feel the difference between wishing for it and commanding it. The shift is not external. It's a seismic event inside you, a claiming of authority. You are the authority. Your mind is the instrument. Your will is the force that moves reality. From this day forward, you do not hope for results. You command them. You are no longer waiting for your turn. You are the one who decides it is now your time. Wealth is not a thing you acquire. It is an identity you assume. This is the law that has been hidden from you, disguised by the noise of get-rich-quick schemes and hollow motivation. The universe does not give you what you want. It gives you who you are. The man who chases money will always be running, because his identity is that of a chaser. The man who becomes wealth, who embodies its principles, attracts it as his natural state. Your external world is a perfect mirror of your internal identity. If your identity is rooted in scarcity, doubt, and fear, your life will be a monument to those very things. You cannot build an empire on a foundation of internal poverty. It will collapse. The primary law of creation is this: become the thing you seek. Do you seek strength? You must become disciplined. Do you seek opportunity? You must become valuable. Do you seek wealth? You must train your mind to think, act, and carry itself like the man who already possesses the fortune. This is the definite chief aim Napoleon Hill spoke of, applied to your very soul. You must burn this into your subconscious. I do not chase. I attract. I do not hope. I become. This is not a word game. This is the re-engineering of your core identity. It begins the moment you stop looking outside for validation or resources and start forging the internal character that makes those things irrelevant. The world pays for value, and you are the factory of that value. Think of it this way: a magnet does not need to chase metal. It simply is, its nature, its fundamental properties. Pull the metal to it effortlessly. your work is not to run after every dollar. Your work is to build the magnetism within your own mind, your own habits, your own character. So, how do you begin this process of becoming? You define the man you intend to be, not the money you want, but the man who commands that. Money, what are his standards? How does he think? How does he handle adversity? How does he speak? You must define this identity with surgical precision. This is your mission now. Forget the numbers in your bank account for a moment. They are lagging indicators. The leading indicator is the man you are becoming in this very second. Start acting. From that identity, make decisions as he would, speak as he would, carry yourself with the quiet confidence of a man who knows the result is already secured because of who he is. Your skull is not just a container for your brain, it is the command center of your reality. It is the war room where your future is decided long before the first battle is ever fought in the physical world. Every great achievement in human history was first a complete and finished victory inside a single human mind. Consider the Titans Hill wrote about. Thomas Edison did not stumble upon the light bulb in a dark room. He held the vision of a world without darkness so firmly in his mind that 10,000 failures were nothing more than data points. His mind was locked on the target. The external world simply had to catch up to the command he had already issued. Henry Ford saw every man, not just the rich, driving an automobile. People called him a madman. His engineers said his V8 engine was impossible. His response was not one of doubt. It was a command: build it anyway. His mind was the factory that produced the vision first. The assembly lines came later. They were just a reflection of a blueprint that was already perfect in his head. This is the power you have forgotten you possess. You have been taught to react to the world, to let circumstances dictate your thoughts. This is slave thinking. The commander's mind does the opposite. It imposes its vision onto the world. It uses the raw material of thought to design a future, and then pulls that future into the present through sheer force of will and disciplined action. Your mind is either your greatest asset or your most devastating liability. There is no neutral ground. It is either working for you, executing your commands, building your vision, or it is working against you, infected by the viruses of fear, doubt, and the opinions of others. You must choose. Who is in control? So, your drill is one of reclamation. For the next 24 hours, you will become the ruthless guard of this command center. You will monitor every thought that seeks entry. Is this thought building my empire or tearing it down? Is it a command from me, or is it noise from the outside world? You will deny entry to any thought that does not serve the mission. This is the first act of a sovereign ruler. You are claiming your territory. You are declaring that your mind is not public property. It is a fortified command center, and you are the only one who gives the orders. Act like it. Think of your mind as the most fertile soil on earth. It will grow whatever you plant without judgment. It will grow the seeds of abundance, courage, and success with the same impersonal efficiency that it will grow the weeds of scarcity, fear, and failure. The soil does not care what you plant. It only cares that you planted something. The tragedy is that most men allow their minds to be seeded by accident. They let the wind carry the stray seeds of news headlines, the opinions of broke friends, and their own past failures. They then wonder why their life is a garden of weeds. They have never deliberately chosen what to plant. They have never become the master gardener of their own soul. Belief is not a mystical force you hope for. It is a seed you deliberately plant. Faith, the kind Napoleon Hill described, is not blind hope. It is the conscious and repeated cultivation of that seed. You water it with daily affirmations. You give it sunlight with vivid visualization. You protect it from weeds by ruthlessly guarding your thoughts. This is the essence of autosuggestion. You are not lying to yourself. You are giving your subconscious mind a new set of blueprints. You are overriding the old faulty programming that was installed by default. You are telling the soil with absolute authority what you demand it to grow. And the soil, your subconscious, will obey without question. Every time you say, I can't, you plant a seed of impotence. Every time you say, it's too hard, you plant a seed of weakness. Every time you entertain a doubt, you are watering the weeds that will choke your ambition. You must become ruthless. You must become the guardian who stands at the gate of your mind and says, only seeds of my choosing are planted here. Your task, starting today, is to plant one powerful seed. Choose one core belief that the man you want to become holds as an absolute truth. It could be, I am a creator of immense value, or I am a magnet for opportunity. Write it down. This is not a flimsy affirmation. This is the seed for a new tree of life. Repeat this statement to yourself when you wake up, before you go to sleep, and especially when you face a challenge. You are not just speaking words. You are tilling the soil. You are planting the seed. You are commanding your subconscious to begin the work of growing a new reality. There is a fundamental divide that separates the architects of fortune from the prisoners of circumstance. It is not resources. It is not intelligence. It is the set of questions they ask themselves. The mind of scarcity and the mind of wealth operate on entirely different programming, and you must choose which one you will run, the scarcity mindset. The default software for the masses constantly asks, can I afford this? It sees the world through a lens of limitation, of not enough. It views problems as final roadblocks and failure as a judgment on its worth. This mindset is designed for one thing only, survival, and you were not born to merely survive. The wealth mindset operates from a place of creation. It does not ask, can I afford this? It asks, how can I create this? Or how can I build the system that makes this inevitable? It does not see problems. It sees puzzles. It does not see failure. It sees data. It is a mindset designed not for survival, but for conquest. This shift in questioning is the key that unlocks everything. When you ask, how can I create it? Your mind is forced to abandon the prison of your current circumstances and enter the infinite field of possibility. It becomes a solution-seeking missile, scanning the world for resources, allies, and strategies. You move from being a victim of your bank account to the commander of your creativity. This is a war you must win every single day. The world will constantly try to drag you back into the scarcity mindset. The news, your social circle, your old habits, they are all programmed to think in terms of limits. You must be the one who stands apart, who consciously rejects their programming and runs your own. Here is your order of battle for today. The next time you face a desire or a goal and the automatic thought, I can't afford it, arises, you will stop it dead. You will interrupt the pattern, and you will consciously, deliberately ask the new question, how can I create the value that makes this my reality? Do not worry about the answer immediately. The power is in the question itself. The act of asking it begins to rewire your brain. It trains your mind to look for opportunity, not for obstacles. You are shifting from the software of a consumer to the operating system of a creator. This is a declaration of your financial independence. The transformation from the man you are to the man you will become does not happen by accident. It is a process of deliberate daily reclamation. You must reclaim your mind from the chaos of the world every single morning before the world has a chance to impose its agenda on you. The first hour of your day determines the trajectory of your entire life. Most men wake up and immediately surrender their power. They grab their phone, they react to notifications, to emails, to the news. They allow their mental state to be dictated by the randomness of the outside world. They begin their day in a state of defense, and you cannot build an empire on defense. You build it on offense. Your new protocol begins before sunrise. You wake up, and before the world screams for your attention, you find silence. In this silence, you are not a reactor. You are a creator. You sit with your thoughts, and you decide. You decide what kind of man you will be today. You decide what your mission is. You decide what reality you are building. You do not allow yesterday's failures or tomorrow's anxieties to write today's script. You are the author. You author it with clarity. You program your mind with the commands that will govern your day. Not, I hope I make it, but I will execute. Not, I wish I had more, but I am becoming more. Not, someday, but today is the day I move. This morning ritual is your strategic briefing for the war ahead. It is where you align your forces. You visualize your victory so clearly that it feels like a memory. You speak your affirmations not as hopeful wishes, but as reports of fact. You are installing the identity of the victor before the battle has even begun. This is not meditation to feel calm. This is conditioning to become lethal. It is the sharpening of your mental sword. It is the loading of your psychological ammunition. It is the process by which you ensure that you enter the day as the commander, not the foot soldier. So your mission is clear. Starting tomorrow, for the next 7 days, you will reclaim the first 30 minutes of your day. No phone, no distractions, just you, silence, and the deliberate construction of your reality. You will write down your one primary objective for the day. You will visualize its successful completion. You will declare who you must become to achieve it. This is non-negotiable. You must understand that wealth is a frequency. Your mind is the transmitter. At any given moment, you are either broadcasting a frequency of scarcity or a frequency of prosperity. There is no neutral channel. The universe, in its impersonal wisdom, simply reflects back to you the signal you are sending. The frequency of scarcity is static. It's the constant hum of "I can't," "it's not fair," "what if I lose?" It is a signal of fear, transmitted through your thoughts, your words, your posture, and it attracts precisely what it broadcasts: more lack, more reasons to be afraid, more loss. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy of defeat. The frequency of prosperity is a clear, powerful signal. It is the hum of "I will find a way," "this is an opportunity," "I am capable." It is a signal of conviction, transmitted by a mind that has been trained to see abundance and solutions. It attracts what it broadcasts: resources, ideas, allies, and opportunities. This is not magic. It is the law of resonance. Now listen. Once you begin to transmit this new frequency, you will be tested. Life will throw storms at you to see if your signal holds. People will doubt you. You will fail. The world will do everything in its power to force you back to the old familiar frequency of scarcity. This is the great filter. This is where most men break. This is where your resilience is forged. Resilience is the ability to hold your frequency under pressure. It is the discipline to maintain your state of conviction even when your external reality shows you the opposite. It is the faith to know that the storm is not the end of the story. It is a test of the signal. This resilience is not something you are born with. It is a muscle you build. You build it every time you face a setback and choose to see a lesson. Instead of a loss, you build it every time you feel fear and act anyway. You build it every time you are rejected and you use that rejection to refine your approach. So, your training in resilience begins now. The next time you face a failure or a setback this week, you are forbidden from calling it that. You will stop and you will ask one question: what is the data here? What is this teaching me? How does this feedback make my next attempt stronger? You are to see every obstacle not as a barrier, but as a sparring partner sent to strengthen your signal. You are being forged in the furnace of faith and discipline. The fire is not there to destroy you. It is there to burn away your weakness and reveal the unbreakable core of the man you are becoming. There is a line. It is invisible, but it is the most real thing in your life. On one side of this line is the man who wants to change, who hopes for a better future. On the other side is the man who will have it. The space between these two is the graveyard of potential, filled with the ghosts of good intentions. The name of that line is decision. Desire alone is a spark. It is fleeting. It can warm you for a moment, but it cannot cook your meal or power your engine. Decision is the fire. Decision is the act of crossing that invisible line, of cutting off all other possibilities, of burning the bridges behind you. It is the moment you stop dipping your toe in the water and you plunge in, fully committed. The universe does not respond to hesitation. It abhors a vacuum of conviction. It responds to the man who has made a decision. A true decision is measured by the new action you take. If there is no new action, you have not decided. You have only stated a preference. Hill called this the mastery of procrastination, and it is the single most common trait among men who build empires. Think of Ford, told the V8 engine was impossible. His desire was to have it. His decision was to command build it anyway. That is the difference. The decision commits you to a path. The desire just looks at the path. You have been looking long enough. Now you cross the line. The fear you feel before a big decision is not a sign to stop. It is the toll you must pay to cross the inn. It is the dragon that guards the treasure. You do not wait for the fear to subside. You make the decision, and in the act of making it, you gain the power to slay the dragon. This is the moment of your own personal genesis. You must decide that your life will be something extraordinary, and you must back that decision with unwavering faith and relentless action. This is where you stop being a product of your past and become the architect of your future. Your command is this: there is a decision you have been delaying. You know exactly what it is. the one that haunts you, the one that, if made, would change everything. You will make that decision in the next hour, not analyze it again, not weigh the pros and cons one more time. You will decide, and you will immediately follow it with one small physical action to seal it in reality. Send the email, make the call, write the first line of the plan. This act, however small, is your signature on the contract with your destiny. You have crossed the line. There is no going back. You cannot outperform your own self-image. Read that again. You cannot outperform the identity you hold of yourself in the deepest recesses of your mind. If you see yourself as a struggler, a victim, a man who just gets by, then even if wealth falls into your lap, you will find a way to sabotage it. It does not match your internal blueprint. Wealth, success, and power do not stick to an identity that cannot support their weight. They are repelled by it. Your first and most important job is to become the architect of a new identity, an identity so powerful, so aligned with abundance, that wealth is not just welcomed. It is expected. It is your natural state, but identity is not forged in a vacuum. It is molded, reinforced, or corroded by your environment. Your environment is the water you swim in. If you swim in toxic water, you will become toxic. If you surround yourself with men who think small, who gossip, who fear risk, you will shrink to fit their world. This is not a possibility. It is a law. The principle of the mastermind is not about networking. It is about environmental control. It is the deliberate decision to surround yourself with minds that stretch you, that challenge you, that operate on the frequency you wish to tune into. Your associations are either an anchor holding you down or a current pulling you forward. You must be ruthless in curating your environment. This includes the people you talk to, the content you consume, the conversations you entertain. Every input is a seed being planted in the soil of your mind. Are you allowing seeds of mediocrity to be planted, or are you actively seeking out the seeds of empire? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look at them. That is your future, unless you make a change. This may be the hardest truth to accept, because it may require you to disconnect from people you care about, but who are committed to their own scarcity. So, your mission has 2 parts. First, write down on a piece of paper, "I am the man who," and finish that sentence with the identity you are building. I am the man who builds systems, who acts with courage, who commands his focus. Read this every morning. This is your blueprint. Second, identify one source of negative or small thinking in your environment. One person, one social media feed, one group chat, and you will cut it out. Unfollow, mute, create distance. This is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of survival and an act of command. You are protecting the construction site of your new identity. Humanity is divided into 2 fundamental classes that transcend wealth, status, or background. You are either a consumer or you are a creator. This is the ultimate distinction, and the mindset you choose dictates your entire reality. The consumer waits, reacts, and takes. The creator initiates, decides, and builds. The consumer mindset is the default program of the masses. It asks, what can I get? What's in it for me? What's trending? It chases illusions of success, the fast car, the fancy watch, believing these are the cause of wealth. They are merely the echoes of it. The consumer is a leaf in the wind, moved by external forces. The creator mindset is the operating system. Of the 1%, it asks, what can I build? What problem can I solve? What value can I bring to the world at scale? The creator understands that wealth is a byproduct of value creation. He doesn't chase the echoes. He generates the sound. He is not the leaf. He is the wind. You must uninstall the consumer software. It has been embedded in you since birth by a society that wants you to be a passive, predictable unit. It wants you to buy, to be entertained, to be distracted. To break free, you must consciously shift your entire mode of thinking from consumption to creation. When you look at a successful business, you must stop seeing it as a consumer I want to buy their product and start seeing it as a creator. What system did they build to deliver this value? How is their marketing structured? You must deconstruct, not just consume. This shift turns the entire world into your classroom. Think of Carnegie. He didn't ask, how can I earn a good wage in the steel industry? That is a consumer question. He asked, what system can I build that produces steel for millions and makes me a king in the process? That is a creator question. Wealth flows to those who solve problems at scale. Your order is this. For the next 7 days, you will conduct a creator audit. At the end of each day, you will review your actions. How much of your time was spent consuming scrolling social media, watching passive entertainment versus creating, learning a skill, building a plan, producing something of value? Your goal is to consciously shift that ratio, even by 5%. This is not about hustle, it is about a fundamental identity shift. Are you a passive recipient of the world, or are you an active force shaping it? The answer to that question will determine the entire scope and scale of your life. You have been sold a lie. The lie is that building wealth is exciting. It is sold to you in images of grand gestures, of dramatic overnight success, of one brilliant idea that changes everything. This is a fantasy designed to sell you courses and keep you dreaming. The truth is far less glamorous and far more powerful. The truth is this: wealth is boring, it is repetitive, it is monotonous. It is built not in the spectacular leap, but in the small, consistent, almost invisible acts of discipline performed day after day, week after week, when no one is watching and no one is applauding. It is the mastery of the mundane. The man who chases the high of motivation will never hold lasting wealth. Motivation is a cheap drug. It wears off. The man who falls in love with the process, with the system, with the mastery of the repetitive act, that is the man who becomes unbreakable. He does not need motivation because his identity is built on discipline. You must learn to love the boredom of excellence, the choice to read a book on finance instead of scrolling through meaningless feeds, the choice to invest that extra $100 instead of spending it on a fleeting pleasure, the choice to make the sales call when you don't feel like it. These are the bricks of your empire. They are not exciting. They are essential. This is where you separate yourself from 99% of men. They want the result without the routine. They want the crown without the consistency. They want the glory without the grind. You will not be that person. You will be the one who understands that champions are forged in the boring, unglamorous hours. You must learn to delay gratification, to say no to the immediate pleasure because you have a clear vision of the future empire you are building. This is not punishment. This is power. It is the ultimate sign of a commander, the ability to sacrifice the comfort of the now for the conquest of the future. Your mission is to identify one small, boring act of discipline that, if done consistently, would move you toward your financial goal. It could be tracking your expenses for 10 minutes every day. It could be reading 10 pages of a difficult book. It could be spending 20 minutes practicing a high-value skill. You will commit to performing this one boring act every single day for the next 30 days. You will not seek motivation. You will not wait to feel like it. You will simply execute. This is how you fall in love with the process. This is how you build the foundation that no storm can shake. Your mind is a biocomputer. It runs on software. And right now, its operating system may be infected with the malware of scarcity, the viruses of doubt, and the spyware of public opinion. You cannot build a billion-dollar application on a faulty operating system. The foundation must be rebuilt. You must program your mind for wealth. This is not a metaphor. It is a procedure. You program it with inputs, with repetition, and with a ruthless deletion of conflicting code. You are the master programmer, and your life is the output. If you do not like the output, you must rewrite the code. The first step is to control the inputs. You cannot write wealth software while feeding your mind a daily diet of poverty-focused news, celebrity gossip, and the complaints of your broke friends. This is like trying to write clean code while pouring coffee on your keyboard. It is sabotage. You must curate your inputs with the precision of a surgeon. The second step is repetition. This is how software is installed. A belief is nothing more than a thought you have repeated so many times that it has become an automated command in your subconscious. You will choose your wealth thoughts, your affirmations of identity, and you will repeat them until they feel more real than your current reality. I am a creator of value. I am a magnet for opportunity. My mind is a tool for building empires. The third step is visualization. This is you running the software in a simulation before you deploy it. You must see your goals as already accomplished. See them not as a distant hope, but as a vivid memory of the future. Feel the emotions of that success. This practice convinces your subconscious that the goal is real, and it will begin to alter your behavior to align with that reality. Finally, you must remove distractions like a programmer removes bugs from code. No compromise, no apology. Your focus is your most valuable currency. Every moment you give to a meaningless distraction is a moment you are not building your empire. Guard your focus like you would guard a vault of gold, because that is exactly what it is. Your task is to write your new software. Take a piece of paper. At the top, write Wealth OSV1. Below, list 5 core beliefs of this new operating system. For example, 1. I am 100% responsible for my financial reality. 2. I create value for others at scale. 3. I see opportunity in every challenge. 4. I am disciplined with my capital. 5. My focus is sacred. This is your new code. Place it where you will see it every single day. Read it aloud every morning. This is not a to-do list. This is your new identity being installed, one line of code at a time. The journey to building your empire will not be a calm, straight line. It will be a storm. There will be droughts where nothing seems to grow. There will be detours that test your patience. There will be days where every door slams in your face and your own mind will scream at you, beg you to quit. This is the crucible. This is where your emotional resilience is tested. And it is this resilience that separates the man who builds a lasting fortune from the man who has a brief, fiery success followed by a collapse. You must learn to sever the link between your feelings and your actions. Your actions must be governed by decision, not by mood. Motivation is for amateurs. The professional, the commander, operates on discipline. He keeps the promise he made to himself long after the mood he made it in has vanished. He learns to act independently of his feelings. He feels the fear but takes the action. He feels the fatigue but makes the call. He feels the doubt but executes the plan. This is the superpower of the truly wealthy. They do not negotiate with their own weakness. They do not hold a committee meeting with their fears. They have made a decision, and they execute on that decision whether they feel good or bad. Their actions are a function of their identity, not their emotional state. You must train this into yourself. You must become a man whose word to himself is law. When you say you will do something, it is as good as done. The weather of your emotions becomes irrelevant. You are the mountain, and your feelings are merely the clouds passing by. You do not move. This is where most men fail. They believe they need to feel inspired to act. They are slaves to their emotional chemistry. You will be a master of it. You will learn to use your emotions as data, but not as a director. I feel fear is data. Therefore, I will not act is a choice of a slave. The commander says, I feel fear, data received. Now execute the plan. Here is your resilience training. This week, you will choose one important task that you have been putting off because you don't feel like it. It could be a difficult conversation, a workout, or a piece of your project. You will schedule a specific time to do it. When that time comes, you will observe your feelings of resistance. You will acknowledge them, and then you will execute the task anyway. You will perform the action while feeling the resistance. This act builds the muscle of emotional resilience. You are teaching your body that your mind is in command, not your fleeting feelings. Inside you, there are two men at war. There is the man you are destined to become, the commander, the creator, the force of nature, and there is the other one, the hesitant man. The one who second guesses, who waits for permission, who hopes for a guarantee before he acts. That version of you is the saboteur of your destiny. You must kill him. This is not a metaphor you should take lightly. It is a procedure. You must hunt down this hesitant identity within your own mind, confront it, and systematically starve it until it dies. You must bury it deep and rise with new thoughts, new standards, new rules of engagement. The wealthy, the men who build from nothing, they play by different rules because they operate from a different paradigm. The hesitant man asks, is it possible? The commander asks, how do I make it inevitable? The hesitant man needs guarantees. The commander understands that he is the guarantee. This internal execution begins with a declaration of new laws. Your old self operated on laws of caution and waiting. Your new self operates on laws of action and conviction. You must consciously write these new laws and live by them as if they are the constitution of your soul. Law number 1, I act before I feel ready. Law number 2, I value speed of implementation over perfection. Law number 3, my decision is final. Every time the voice of hesitation speaks in your mind, maybe I should wait. What if it fails? What will they think? You must recognize it as the enemy. It is the ghost of the man you are killing. You do not debate with it. You do not reason with it. You crush it with immediate, decisive action. Hesitation is a habit, a neural pathway you have reinforced for years. You destroy it by building a new one, the habit of immediate action. The moment you have clarity on the next step, you move, you close the gap between thought and action until it is non-existent. Action becomes a reflex. So, here is your order. You will identify the primary hesitation phrase that your old self uses. Is it "I'll do it later"? Is it "I'm not sure"? Is it "I need to think about it more"? Identify your personal mantra of self-sabotage, write it down, and next to it you will write its executioner, a command of immediate action, do it now. For the next 7 days, every time you hear the old phrase in your head, you will verbally, out loud if possible, say your new command. Do it now, and you will take one physical step, no matter how small, to obey that command. You are starving the ghost and feeding the giant. You have been conditioned to see wealth as a number in a bank account, a destination you arrive at. This is a profound misunderstanding. Wealth is not a destination. It is a state of being. It is how you think. It is how you walk. It is how you respond to chaos, to opportunity, to failure, to victory. A man who wins the lottery and receives a massive influx of cash is not wealthy. He is a poor man with a lot of money, and soon the money will be gone because his state of being, his internal identity, is one of poverty. The money cannot stick to him. Conversely, a man with a wealthy state of being can lose everything and will rebuild it because his fortune was never in his wallet. It was in his mind. This is the final piece of the code. You must stop seeing wealth as something out there to be chased and start cultivating it as a state of being in here too. Be lived. This state of being is a combination of your beliefs, your standards, your emotional resilience, and your dominant mental frequency. It is the quiet confidence of knowing you can create value out of thin air. It is the unshakable calm in the face of a storm because you know the storm is a test, not a final judgment. It is the posture of a man who expects success not out of arrogance, but because he knows he is aligned with the laws of creation. When you achieve this state of being, the external world begins to morph to match it. It has no choice. Doors you couldn't push open will swing open on their own. Resources you couldn't find will appear. The right people will show up. This is not luck. This is reflection. The world is finally reflecting the man you have become. You become a magnet, a force, an undeniable presence. You attract wealth because wealth is simply a form of energy, and it is drawn to the energy of clarity, purpose, and unshakable self-trust. You stop chasing and you start attracting. You stop needing and you start receiving. Now we will perform a ritual to anchor this state of being. Stand up. If you cannot stand, sit up straight, close your eyes, and for 60 seconds I want you to embody the man who has already achieved your grandest vision. How does he stand? How does he breathe? What is the expression on his face? Feel it. Don't just think about it. Feel the certainty. Feel the power. Feel the calm. This feeling. This is your new home. Your job is to return to this feeling, this state of being multiple times a day. You are not faking it till you make it. You are practicing the state of being that will create your reality. The training is complete, but the war has just begun. You now hold the code. You understand that wealth is not found, it is forged. It is not a prize you are given, but a reflection of the man you decide to become. It is born in the mind, hardened by discipline, and commanded into existence by a will that refuses to be denied. Your mind is the forge. Your thoughts are the fire. Your decisions are the hammer. And the man you are becoming is the masterpiece, unbreakable, undeniable, and aligned with the forces of abundance. You do not hope for this reality. You build it. Your mission does not end when this transmission is over. It restarts tomorrow morning. This video is no longer content. It is your daily strategic briefing. Return to this code every day for the next 30 days until it is not something you remember, but something you are. Let it be the fire that forges your day before the world attempts to cool your resolve. Your orders are clear. Subscribe and commit to your ongoing training. Declare your new identity in the comments below. Write, I am the architect. And if you know another man fighting his own war in silence, recruit him. Send him this transmission. A commander strengthens his legion. Now go and execute.